Every older generation loves to look at the youth and call them soft. But for Generation Z, the criticism feels infinitely louder. We are constantly told that we are the snowflake generation, that we are too sensitive, that we don't want to work, and that we spend too much time on our phones complaining instead of building our lives. But let's take a step back and look at the actual board game we were handed. Because the reality is, Gen Z isn't soft. We are just the first generation forced to play a game where the rules were changed, the prize money was stolen, and the board is literally on fire. Let's talk about why growing up right now is actually incredibly difficult. Let's start with the most obvious hurdle, the economy. The blueprint we were sold, the one our parents and grandparents used, was incredibly simple. Go to school, get a degree, get an entry-level job, buy a modest house, and start a family. But that blueprint is completely obsolete. We stepped into adulthood and found out the ladder had been pulled up behind the previous generation. Today, entry-level jobs require 3 to 5 years of experience. A university degree, which used to be a golden ticket, is now just a baseline requirement that leaves you with massive, crippling debt. And housing? The idea of owning a home feels like a dystopian fantasy for most 20-somethings. We are working longer hours in a gig economy that offers zero security, just to afford rent for an apartment we will never own. The math simply does not add up anymore. But the financial struggle is only half the battle. The psychological landscape is arguably much worse. We are the first generation to have our entire cognitive development shaped by social media and algorithms. We didn't just adopt the internet, we were raised inside of it. From the time we were children, our attention spans have been harvested by tech companies designed to keep us scrolling. We are subjected to a 24/7 highlight reel of global perfection, constantly comparing our messy, unfiltered reality to everyone else's highly curated success. We don't have the luxury of making mistakes in private. Everything is documented, judged, and permanent. We are constantly connected to everyone on the planet. Yet statistically, we are the loneliest generation in recorded history. Then there is the existential dread. Previous generations could tune out global catastrophes if they chose to. We have the absolute worst horrors of the world live-streamed directly into our pockets before we even get out of bed. We are inheriting a planet with a rapidly destabilizing climate, facing a constant barrage of political polarization, global conflicts, and a media cycle that thrives on inducing panic. It is incredibly difficult to plan for a 10-year career path when you harbor a quiet, nagging feeling that the world might literally not be functional in a decade. That isn't pessimism. For many of us, it just feels like realism. We are carrying the weight of massive, systemic failures that we had absolutely no part in creating. So yes, we are exhausted. We are anxious. But here is the part of the story that gets completely ignored. We are also incredibly resilient. Because we see the broken system so clearly, we are refusing to participate in the toxic cycles of the past. We are the generation normalizing mental health. We are setting boundaries in the workplace and refusing to let our jobs define our entire human worth. We are prioritizing our well-being over a corporate hustle culture that doesn't love us back. We aren't lazy. We are just redefining what a meaningful life actually looks like. So if you feel overwhelmed, remember this. You are navigating an unprecedented era. Give yourself grace. We might have been handed a broken world, but we are also the ones brave enough to build something new. Thanks for watching.